What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue here, and I figured to complement my other guide and tip videos I've been giving for the Visions, I was going to do some combat strategies too that I use. A lot of these I feel are pretty self-explanatory, but I've actually talked with others who were very surprised to hear or see these strategies used, or didn't understand exactly how some of the fight mechanics actually work on the Vision bosses, or even just some of the enemies you fight. So I figured I'd show you a couple little tricks here and there. It's probably going to be a really chopped through video because this is going to be a 4-mask run. I've already done my 5-mask run for the week. So this will be pretty close to what you'd expect a 5-mask run to go like with Orgrimmar. Which is, it's Orgrimmar. It's not too difficult, but there are a few places I see people get stuck on a lot, and usually where their cheat death procs in the Visions where they get resurrected back with the 500 sanity thing if they have that on their Titan research and whatnot. So I figured I'd record this. I might end up recording audio over this. I don't think I will this time, though. I think this is going to be a pretty nitty-gritty, just do. I'll just chop to each section that I think is useful or people don't seem to understand very well, at least from what I've gathered from talking to other people. So I'm going to leave this pretty simple. I recommend just having your ghastly goulash, obviously, for your food buff. I keep a couple kebabs. I have that week where I've been mentioning in like every frickin' video, so it's good to have. Honestly, if you don't want to go into the one hut in Orgrimmar to find out which is the bad potion, you can just drink a potion and figure out that way, but you kind of take a risk of it making you lose a little bit of sanity or giving you a dumb buff, so yeah. If you're fast enough, when your puddles pop up underneath you from that, what is that? Mask of the Burned Bridge? Yeah, if you're fast enough, if you have enough base movement speed, you can actually just walk over them, by the way. That's something a lot of people didn't seem to realize. There's like a brief duration where the tick doesn't go off. So that's something good to know if you're a relatively fast class, because rogues have a just innate speed buff. You always want to make sure you get Touch the Abyss, because getting the stun with all the other crap going on is never a good time. Because when you're stunned, your bugs still crawl all over your face from the entomophobia or whatever this is called. Ah, I'm a dingus. What is that called again? I forget. What is this called? I was right. Entomophobia. And yeah, entomophobia. Yep, bugs. Fear of bugs on your face, I'm guessing, and causing you to run around in visions. It's probably fear of getting disoriented in visions, not a fear of bugs, by the way. I don't know. Now, this guy, I normally wouldn't bother doing this, but I'll show you the easiest way to get this loser to stop hitting you with his Void Torrent, I believe it's called? Yeah, Void Torrent. Just go in here and drag him over here. And you just go right there. Nothing will hit you. Ideally, you don't want to kill any rares until you're below 200 sanity from your cap. But, yeah, there's enough blue potions lying around and whatnot everywhere that it doesn't really matter. You want to stay back just a little bit from Maddening Roar. And not stand in your own puddles like an idiot. This guy over here, this Bone Crusher, he sucks. What you do, you just shove yourself in a corner. And you just DPS really hard. Because he'll do Toxic Breath and then he'll do a knockback. And if you can jam yourself against something, the knockback won't throw you anywhere. Which, as you can see, there's this big wall of death. So you don't want to get knocked into that. And just getting knocked back is really annoying. You can also just outrange the headbutt. But if you're melee, that's kind of counterintuitive. Alright, so this one is one of the good examples of your stacking poison debuff that'll get out of hand very quickly. Is because this group here, there's technically only 3 flying swarmers, but there's also a bunch of dead bodies, which I believe spawn more. So what I usually will do to avoid this is CC him away from them. If you do that, obviously you don't have to worry about anything happening. Because you'll kill them. See, even just those 3 alone got me to 4 stacks, and I killed them relatively quickly. I mean, 80k is not a ton of damage, but it's a good amount. As you can see, dead body just spawned a scarab. If you walk near those, they'll spawn more, so by the time you do all that, you'll have a lot of scarabs and you'll get stunned for sure, and it's a pretty bad chain stun. So now, this guy, if you want to avoid his knockback, what you do is you stand right here. So you stand in this corner here. You just move a little bit because your puddles will sometimes get out of hand. But you move a little bit, and then boom. You won't go anywhere, because otherwise, if you try and stand at the bottom of the hill... Oh, sorry, camera. If you try standing at the bottom of the hill, like if you were going to stand where you came up the hill, like fighting him right here, you'll get knocked into this, you'll get stuck out there, it does a lot of damage, and then the bugs will stun you out there, and you're pretty much done. Rexxar, you want to obviously make sure Gift of the Titans is off cooldown. So you want, like, on that last dude I just killed it proc, so I'm waiting a little bit so the internal cooldown is reset. So with Rexxar, and a lot of people don't seem to realize this, if you don't DPS him that fast, he won't spawn the pigs that quickly. Because basically it's every 20% health, he spawns a pig and then does the waves of shotlings that come and attack you. So I'll give you a pretty good example here. Basically, you don't DPS him too hard until you get like a pig or two down, or if you get your Gift of the Titans proc and you can kill him during the duration of it. So that's another way to look at it. I'm waiting here, backing up so I can avoid my corruption. You also want to make sure you don't get knocked into these traps, because you will. It's 85, okay. And obviously, you want to get interrupt. If anything, if you haven't got Gift of the Titans to proc yet, just hard swap to the pig. Doing that, literally, Rexxar becomes laughably easy. You also want to make sure you're nowhere near those traps, like I said, because they will knock you back a decent amount. 9 times out of 10, they'll knock you into your split personality. So now we got Roofer. Let's just interrupt him again. And even if you have a longer interrupt, if you just wait it out, I mean, Rexxar doesn't do that much damage, and with your Ghastly Goulash, he can't out DPS it. It's literally impossible. Oh, that was a close one. See, this last one you get 2, so that's a little trickier. So if you can CC one, interrupt the other. Still haven't had a Gift of the Titans proc. This is really unfortunate. Stuns help a lot. Any CC, really. Alright, now we got Gift of the Titans after we don't need it anymore, boys. Good job. And then, obviously, your waves of Shawlings, just avoid them. And, boom. Technically, they're Voidlings, I'm sure, but whatever. This one's a pretty easy one to avoid. I'm sure people have noticed it by now, but after his Surging Fist, he does a Decimator. The Decimator works kind of like, I think, the Priest move Divine Star, where it, like, goes out and comes back in. So, kind of like when, you know, when Goku gets Frieza to chop himself in half, you don't want to, like, forget that it comes back around, you know? Oh, Gift of the Titans, perfect timing. Alright, so normally I wouldn't do this, but since I'm a rogue, I can cloak during hopelessness, and it doesn't hit me at all. But you get hit with the second one, because I DPS'd him fast enough, and then, boop. That's all. And I'm cloaking this because I'm a jerk. Bam. Jeez, camera angle. Yeah, ideally with him, you just want to sidestep only when you need to. Like, really only when you need to, because his moves come so often that it's not easy to get rid of your lead foot if you move even slightly too often. So, something to consider. Yeah, Gift of the Titans, perfect. Not a whole lot you can do about him, other than trying to get away from your split personality before he throws you, because he'll throw you like every time. Oh, interesting. Didn't expect that. Guess he does not count as percent. Oh, and if you get these things stuck on ledges, yeah, you can get under them. Him really just sidestepping defiled ground and just working in a circle around him is just the best thing to do. And hoping you're, there we go. Yeah. I say, hoping your split personality doesn't proc at really bad times. But yeah, just sidestepping around him in a circle. I mean, if you're ranged, you could maybe stand further away if you had someone with you, but if you're not, then, yeah. And Gayar is still fighting him. Ah, didn't expect that, actually. I guess he does not count as percent. Oh well, bye Gayara. Have fun with that. On him, he does spawn with the pigs. So ideally, if you have any CC, of course, stun, CC, you get one first. And then you go to him, and you start beating up this one. That way you don't have to deal with any sanity loss at all. Thrall does start with defiled ground really early on, so you just want to make sure you avoid that, and boom, problem solved. And I've get to the Titans up, so easy peasy at this point. Sidestep that. For some reason, Hopelessness, you can't cloak on Thrall. Not sure why. Ideally, you want to keep him... You don't want to block yourself into a corner. His Cries of the Void is way too high to get through, basically. I mean, it's just... You would have to do a lot of burst damage to get through it, so there's almost no point. And just sidestep. And by then... He'll do his stupid jumpy stuff. He becomes a jumpy boy. Oh. That was close. Yeah, that's all. Honestly, Orgrimmar is, like, notoriously easy in comparison to Stormwind, but I've heard a few people that didn't quite know some of those tricks. I don't know if they'll help you or not. I hope they do. I guess before the video ends, let's see what kind of amazing goodies we've gotten out of our chest this time. Oh, Cthulhu. No one expects Cthulhu. Oh boy. So I've got a bunch of those. Let's see. And mastery increase from all sources, 9%.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Hopefully you guys liked the video. I'll have some more vision-related stuff soon. I'll have one for Stormwind, because I didn't do a combat tactics thing on Stormwind yet. So, anyways, this is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.